Welcome back to the Conscious Salon Podcast, the motherhood series. Now, my guest today is...
Well, actually, I should do the introduction because I'm
interviewing you.
No, I'm interviewing you, Dal.
I'll do you first.
Aiden, did we not just go through that? Who was first?
Don't bring Dad into this. We're going to do you first. We're going to do you first.
I don't think it was discussed. It was just said we're doing two. So.
Okay.
All right, you interview me first.
All right, I'm
Go
going
on.
to interview you. All right, so I'll start with a welcome. Welcome back to the Motherhood series by the Conscious Salon. Today, my guest is a incredible entrepreneur. She is.
Did you write something?
No. It's a blank screen.
You do.
She is a salon owner. She is a mentor to salon owners. She is a mum of Mr. Solly Blue and Marty, the dog.
And
she
Pete Young.
is a partner to Pete. She is my sister. She's an incredible aunt, partner, mother, business owner, friend, daughter, human being. Please welcome Nicola Pollock.
Oh, very nice. Thank you for my eulogy.
How are you today?
I'm good, mate.
Excellent. Well, it's a bit different sitting behind the chair, isn't it?
I just got a little bit nervous.
Did you?
Yeah. Away with anxiety.
Put on the millionaire pressure songs, Aiden. We're going to turn up the heat. No, today this episode is really, we've interviewed some really incredible humans that are in our industry and women that have shared incredible stories, and I realise that a lot of people don't know ours, and especially I think yours is one that is very unique in terms of your journey to motherhood. So today we are going to have you in the hot seat and me as the interviewer. You're the interviewee. So Nikki, my first question, I would love for you to describe becoming a mum and running a salon at the time you did.
Becoming a mum was amazing. Doing it while running a salon, owning a salon. I had my son in August of 2020, so a few months after everything had shut down. And at the time, it was a really difficult time during COVID, and it was hectic lockdowns. And the day before I went into hospital was the day that Victoria had recorded the most amount of cases, which now looking back on it, it sounds even funny to say, but at the time it was what I deemed to be the scariest, most overwhelming time. And it wasn't really clear whether people were going to be allowed in the birth room. I obviously wanted you to be in there while I gave birth. It was really important to me to have you as my support person, along with Pete. But yeah, I think when I fell pregnant, the world was in a good place. And then during my pregnancy, everything sort of fell apart. And then just the day before I went into labour and had Solly was probably the most mentally unwell I've ever felt before. So it was unbelievably overwhelming to go into that. And then to have him, and, I think when you get pregnant, you think that your life is going to look a certain way. You start to think about showing my baby to these people and having lunch with these people and, having this newborn life with friends and family around and lots of support and lots of outings, and even just taking your baby out to socialize and seeing the world with your baby. And that was absolutely not what we were dealt with. So it was really hard to let go of that expectation and to be present and to try and be a really good mum as well. And do all of that while you're running a business and having a whole team turning and looking at you being what do we do next? And you're I don't fucking know. It was truly the best and the worst time of my life.
I think some of the massive differences when I look at your birthing experience with Solly and my birthing experience with River, we had our boys at the same hospital, and such different experiences. You were in my birth, you were a big part of it. We had I would say like a community at the hospital, like the midwives and supports that we had, and the experience was really like sacred and exactly how I wanted it. And your experience was so different where, you know, I wasn't in your birth, which I know we worked through and you know, that was realistically not that big of a thing in the moment. But I know at the time for you it was massive. But even down to like, you know, you had to walk up a whole heap of stairs in labour because the elevators were shut because
they wouldn't let me use the lift and the fucking birth suite was like 3 levels up and I'm like in labour, 43 weeks pregnant. Just go up those stairs, 3 flights. I thought, oh my God, it took me about 45 minutes to get up the stairs.
Yeah, Nikki was almost fully dilated when she got to the top. But even with that, we had, and then, you know, they, you know, trying to put a mask on you and trying to like, when I think of, you know, my birth, I was deep in breath and trying to do that through a mask. And, you know, like I remember you sharing that they had to push a buzzer to have a witness with your midwife to watch Solly actually being born. And
they watched from the door.
Yeah, just so different. And even with, you know, Pete had the 2 hours and then it was you need to go home, but it was after the curfews were in place. So he had the police pulled him over and escorted him home because, and he, you know, what was your reason for being out? Saying, I've just had a baby. Like, here he is. Like, here's a picture from 2 hours ago.
Well, when we were actually driving to the hospital, when I was in labour, I was like, I felt like I was about to have a baby on the side of the road, and looking now back how quick my contractions were apart, I probably would have had a baby like at home if we had have stayed another 20 minutes. And then getting in the car, as soon as we were in the car, there was a police car behind us because obviously no one was on the road past 8 p.m. This is like 10:30 at night. And Pete was driving and he said, what do I do if they flash the sirens? Should I just keep going? I don't know what to do. And I said, just keep going. Like, just they can follow us to the hospital. And then, Pete got pulled over on the way home from the hospital and asked, you know, why was he out? And it's like a different time.
It's wild when you like thinking about that. And I think you've had such a unique experience. I also want to remind you, I don't even reckon you'd remember this. I would say an hour, maybe 2 hours after Solly was born. Solly was born at, was it 10 to 9 in the morning?
10 to 10.
10 to 10, excuse me. I'm pretty sure Dan Andrews at that time was doing a presser at 11. There was a presser with changes to work.
Yeah, I was still in the birth suite. I was like,
and there is,
could we wheel a TV in, please?
There is a photo of Nikki on her, literally in the bed still post-birth, on her laptop, learning what the new rules and regulations were,
fucked up,
with the cleanup happening around you. And that stays with me now because I think of how different our experiences were. Yours is such, and this is also really where I wanted to talk about it because it's such a different experience than what I could even begin to imagine. But even when you think of that version of you and that pressure of running a salon and birthing a human side by side, it's a really big thing for you to be holding.
Yeah, and it's like, I think looking back at that now, I also want to take responsibility for the type of person that I was back then, because as fucked up as it is to say, I just want to be really authentic here. I think there was a version of me that always needed to be the one solving problems. So I probably, in some sick way, had this thrill of like, I'm going to be the one that's going to solve the problems. I'm going to be the one that's going to help the team. And I think as much as I just sort of fell into being that person for the team and the clients and the community in that time, I probably, like, I have to own my part in it. I think I really prioritised that. And looking back now, like, I just have so much compassion to that version of me that thought that that was the best thing to do. Like, with a 2-hour-old baby to think about my business.
What do you grieve most about that? And do you feel like you've been able to process it?
I think back then as a leader, whenever I think about that time, I think about sacrificing so much for our team. And like, not that they ever asked that, but I think about predominantly that was to make sure that the team had a job or that the team felt okay. And I definitely assumed a lot of responsibility for other people's like mental health, for other people's like the way that they felt. So I think the biggest thing that I grieve is like the people pleaser in me. The people pleaser that just put so many people above myself. And it's awful to say, but so many people above my son. Because I felt like it was the best thing to do at the time. Obviously, hindsight's 20/20, but I don't hold guilt. I just hold compassion of like that version of myself that thought that she had to be on a laptop 2 hours later. It's like I wouldn't recognize that person now because of the boundaries that I have in place. But it literally comes down to because I really felt unbelievably responsible for other people and wanted to make sure everyone else was okay rather than making sure that I was okay or that my son was okay.
I'm so sorry that.
And it's so crazy because like our team never asked that of me. You know, it's something that I've put on myself. Like they never expected that. And I think there would have been so much more power in turning around and saying, I actually don't have the answers right now. I don't know. And I'm just going to do what's right for myself and my family right now. Rather than thinking that my business was the most important thing, because that's how I used to think.
I really appreciate you sharing that, Nick. And I think, you know, in full trend, I know that we've spoken about this, you know, privately a lot, but I think in where you have that with the people pleasing side of you, there's the like lack of responsibility on my end where I feel that like I was the same. I was turning to you as well, being like, what happens now? And I know we've spoken about this, especially with the experience that I've had having maternity leave, and I wish I could change that for you and the experience that you had. And I know, you know, we all did the best that we could in the moment, but that doesn't mean that we did everything perfectly or right. And I certainly didn't do things perfectly or right by you. So
I'm actually, like I love you and I appreciate that. But I actually am so grateful. This is like a true mentorship, like mentor saying this. I'm actually so grateful for that happening because I feel like we would not have been able to support so many of our clients the same way by not having that like reality check of like, fuck, we'll tell you what not to do. And I think it's made us so much stronger in our mission to help women go through motherhood when they own a salon and do it consciously and actually show what's possible.
Beautiful. Thank you. Do you feel like you've processed it?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But there's still a lot of emotion. Like, as I said, I take full responsibility for putting that. Like no one said, okay, you're going to be the go-to. I was very much like, oh, me, I'll sort it out. You know, again, people-pleasing tendencies. But, I think I have. But there's a lot of emotion still there. You know?
It's funny though. I think you can be at peace with it, but still it can be painful as well. Like two things, again, can be true at once. So even having processed it or it not having the same weight that it might once have had, it does still have a lot of emotion. Like when you think about it, you can return there very quickly.
Absolutely.
And as you know, we say often, like your experience is so unique, and actually putting myself in your shoes, I think you did such an incredible job, and I'm so grateful for the way that you showed up and did things. I would love to have changed how I showed up for you, but I'm so grateful for how our business survived because of you, and I'm really grateful for that. So thank you. Which leads to my next question. If you had been held better, potentially in a different time, maybe not through COVID, or even, by the people around the business or even yourself, what would your early motherhood have looked like?
I think it would have been a lot more like yours. I think you've done it beautifully. And I look at how present you are with River and how focused you are on your own self-development every day. Like, you do that really well in terms of prioritising yourself and not losing that version of yourself. Yeah, I look at the way you've done motherhood and I'm like, oh, fuck, I should have done it like that. Like, I really do. I think you've just...
That's why you go second. You learn, you watch. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, it's more of like the present. You think it would be more present?
Yeah, more present.
Mm-hmm.
Really having strong boundaries with work,
mm-hmm.
putting those in myself, enforcing those, and setting up more structure beforehand so that it would allow me to step away and move away. Yeah.
Beautiful.
For sure.
Do you think sorry. Do you think that experience shaped how you show up for other mothers in our community now?
Yes. Absolutely, wholeheartedly, yes. We have one of our private clients had her baby at 29 weeks, I think, 27 or 29 weeks, I can't remember. But her baby was born extremely prematurely, and even, not that I can compare to that situation, but she went almost immediately back into the salon. And so much of the work on what we've done in her journey has been really actively getting her into a state of consciousness that's like, you don't have to be on this merry-go-round. You have to slow down. You need to work on being conscious every single day and really changing your life so that you're not addicted to the merry-go-round and constantly putting yourself into a state of cortisol. I don't think we would have had that perspective if I had like a peaceful, easy mat leave. I think that has helped to be able to mentor in so many ways. And even when our clients, because like so many of our clients, our private clients especially, sometimes we're the first people that they tell that they're pregnant, which is huge. So we have this enormous privilege to be able to help women to think about, okay, how is this actually going to work for me? And so many women are limited in thinking, I have to get back because I have to do all these things and I have to run this business and I have to, do X, Y, and Z. But we get to say, what do you actually want? Which is huge.
I think the other thing that you really educate people on and you often say before you talk about this that, potentially it's going to trigger people when you do go and say it, but you have really created community raising and, especially for like Mick and I, Mick already being a parent, me being a step parent before we had our baby together, changing that narrative of you don't have to do it all on your own and you can really raise children as a community, as a group, as a collaboration almost.
Well, so Western culture is like the only culture in the world that don't raise families like within a community or within a tribe, if you will. Like we're the only culture in the world that doesn't. So we really consciously went into parenting and said we want all the help that we can get. We want to raise this baby. We want everyone to help parent this baby. We want this baby to have different perspectives. And that was really, really important to us. Also for us to have the mental relief. And Pete and I really wanted to prioritise our relationship and making sure that we still had time for each other. We recognised each other at the end of this like parenting journey when Solly gets, old enough to grow up, move out, get a job, all those sort of things. I wanted to be able to turn to Pete and recognise him and have things in common and preserve our relationship really well. So that was also really important. But yeah, I think we've always had the idea of community living, and I do think that, obviously Pete and I set the tone for that in our family. And it was really interesting because Mick hadn't had that, necessarily had that experience before. So I think that was a really foreign concept for him. I think he thought it was going to be like Everybody Loves Raymond or something, but it was so consciously done.
Who's Marie?
Me. It It was so
Yeah, it really was.
beautifully done. And I think that really opened him up to
Agree.
Yeah, to having that different style. And I think probably his journey as a newborn parent would have been quite different for him in terms of being able to share the load. And I think we need to normalise community living. I'm still trying to convince you to build the commune, but not quite there
Convince. I was the one, darling, the house behind me just went up for sale. I was like, Nikki, why don't you buy that one? And you said no.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. It's sold now. You've lost a chance. But I think that's really important. And I think my favourite moments when we're in, whether it's speaking on stage or at a retreat or working privately or even just, down the street, doesn't matter where we are, when this comes up in conversation, because it is a matter of time, not that this is all that Nikki talks about. She doesn't wait for an opportunity to segue into community raising. But I get so excited because I know that it offers people the idea that it can be different and you can do this as a collective and it's beautiful and connective and, even for our littles now, it's really confusing to people whether they're siblings or cousins or brothers or like what they all are to
like
each
a
other.
cult in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, and we kind of go with what they feel. Sometimes Solly will say that River's his brother and other days it'll be his cousin, and either way it's perfect.
Very confusing to the people around us.
Absolutely, and there are people that will confuse me as Solly's mum and you as Rivers and all of those things, but it's just something that's so normal in our world where it is really blurred and there is no it's just we're all in this together.
I think a lot of people get really hung up on not asking for help, and I really do want to say you don't have to do it alone. And there will be so many people that will feel triggered by that because they'll be like, I don't have in-laws here or I don't have parents and blah, blah, blah. I understand that, but it can also be people that you choose to bring in. And I think the opportunity and the privilege that you give to people when you invite them in to help raise your child is so enormous. It's not a burden. It's such a privilege for people to be involved, and I really want women to think of that more.
I love that. It is. It's life-changing, and I think you really set the tone. It's my favourite thing that you share and educate on, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
My final question, what would you tell Solly one day? Actually, no, sorry, I'm going to change this a little.
Because that would have made me cry.
Well, maybe I will. Might be my last question. It might be my second last. What would you tell Solly one day about that time, the version of you who kept showing up even when you were cracked open?
I think irrespective of that version, I feel so grateful for that experience, which I never thought I would say. I feel unbelievably grateful for that experience because it taught me so much about releasing control and surrender and also being adaptable, because I don't think I was very adaptable before all of COVID and like all of those things. And by the end of it, I was like, I can handle anything, whatever, do whatever. So I think I would say that his mum is an incredibly resilient woman, which I don't think I would have described myself as that previously. And the reality is, like, I never gave up. I never gave up on our business or what we had dreamt of.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
What advice would you give to anyone who is considering potentially exploring a journey into becoming a parent? Someone who might be sitting here listening to this already with a child in their tummy, or people who think that they can't do it because it will mean a sacrifice of something else. What advice would you give to them or a version of you when you were pregnant?
Wow. I want you to know that you can this can look however you want, and to feel really empowered that you are in the driver's seat to make this happen. And any way that you want this to look, it can look this way. We've proved that time and time again with every client that we've worked with that has gone into motherhood. And you can have an incredible business and you can be connected to an aligned team and you can be present with your kids and have it all. Like I go into my salon now once a week, sometimes once a fortnight for 2 to 4 hours. And I can feel incredibly connected to my team and have an abundant, amazing business and feel on purpose. And then I can be there with my son whenever he needs me and whenever I want to be as well.
Mm.
So understand and know that you can have it all.
Mm. How do you think Solly would describe you as a mum? Absolute final question.
Probably I make the best snack platters.
You do.
I think he would say that I'm extremely caring and loving and gentle.
Beautiful. How do you feel sharing this? This is a very different version of you that comes forward. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Thank you, mate.
I must say, you look, the arms are out, looking very like powerful and in a moment. It's a very hot move from you. I'm loving it. Thank you for sharing, especially your very unique experience. I know that a lot of people will take a lot from that, and I'm really grateful for you to share so openly and vulnerably.
Thank you.
Thank you all for listening to the Conscious Salon Podcast. Would you like to sign off as me?
Sure. Thank you, everyone. Stay conscious.